everyone. We are here with Rachael and Patrick, and today they're going to share their investing journey with us and their experience in the Success with Rental Properties coaching program. So let's start off with both of you guys telling everyone a little bit about yourselves, what you do for work, where you're from, and what has been your investing journey prior to joining the program.
Yeah, so hi everyone, happy to be here. So my name is Patrick. I'm from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Currently, I'm a creative advertiser for one of the film studios in Los Angeles. And
I'm Rachael, and this is my lovely fiance, Patrick. I am currently a marketing manager. I'm originally from San Diego. And yeah, before joining coaching, we had one single family turnkey rental in northern Dallas, Texas.
Awesome. And what you guys bought them turnkey, your house? Was it turnkey that you bought?
Yes.
So that gave you some experience and insight into investing. But what was missing from that still made you feel like you needed to join a coaching program or get extra help or learn more?
Yeah, I think we realized after the first turnkey property acquisition that we really liked real estate investing and that we were going to want to do more of it, and it was going to come in different forms. So we knew we needed to get our hands a little dirtier with active investing and projects and acquisitions. So we knew that that would entail buying something off of the MLS, which wasn't what happened the first time with our property in Texas. We bought a new construction off of a builder, which is quite seamless of an operation. So things like, buying it straight off the market, potentially renovating it and overseeing project management with a general contractor or with any sort of folks that would have to come in and just require more depth of experience that we did not have yet. So I think knew that we needed to jumpstart our education of the process by seeking out a form of coaching that made sense for us, and a form of coaching that could answer a lot of our questions, because we have 100 questions and we're interested in 100 different means of investment, be it BRRRR, be it long-term, short-term, a lot of different things, HELOCs, 100 things. So this program made the most sense for us to really accelerate our knowledge of how to get more actively involved in the investment.
Well, I'm glad you guys joined. As you know, there are two main elements of the program. There's the course, the Success with Rental Properties online course that you guys went through, and then there's also the one-on-one coaching that we do. What were some of the things you benefited from the course aspect itself, the online learning?
Just the online learning, little things as far as, the correct type of materials that you would want in your rental property. That was just such a huge learning. The brand of refrigerator. I mean, we were just very new to these type of things. As Patrick mentioned, when you're working with a builder, it's just, you set it and forget it. But this is just a lot more active. So we really wanted to have a step-by-step of what would be best and what has worked time and time again, and would be, tenant resistant, basically.
Yeah.
Have
you guys done coaching programs before with anybody else?
No.
Was it what you expected, or what did you think it was going to be like? And then what was it actually like?
Yeah, I think we have high expectations for things, especially things that we assign a monetary value to. So I think it definitely met our expectation. We knew we wanted to have somebody's, uninterrupted attention and time. And we got everything and more of that from you and our experience. We could ask all the questions, be it, beginner or might have seemed silly to us at the time. We were able to do all of that. It met our expectations for sure, if not exceeded. When going through the coaching program, I mean, we joked all the time that we felt like you were in a sense like our real estate therapist. Yep. And we could say, come to you with like our aggravations or our bumps in the road when it came to trying to acquire a certain property, or actually going through the closing of this house that we're currently sitting in Florida. So everything that we had hoped it would be, it certainly was for us. And we're people who I think are quite demanding with what we would expect, and need a lot of dynamic, I guess, well, I mean, coaching or guidance, and yeah.
We just really wanted someone on our side that's not benefiting from us buying a certain house or buying a certain this. And it was really nice to have like very much a third party to come in and give their honest opinion based on their experience, not based on, you know, which avenue we take. So it was great to have you as a real estate therapist, as Patrick
I love that. I'm going to add that to my title. Casey Franchini, real estate therapist.
Yeah, right.
I might have to joke about that now when I'm on Instagram.
It's all yours.
All right. I have a serious question here. So when we did our initial call and I told you guys the price of the program and all of that, what was your initial reaction to that? And did you have any reservations about joining the program due to the investment? And how did you overcome that and then eventually decide to join?
Well, if you can remember, my initial reaction was pleasantly surprised, because I just thought that the value was more than there. Not only the months and months of being able to ask our real estate therapist questions, but also, you know, just the whole university and being able to refer back to different types of programs, the modules. And then also just, you know, the value of having that vault. I mean, the other day we were just looking at it and we were looking at, you know, a standard lease agreement. There's just so many templates and things that more than pay for the price of the course. Yeah. So we were really pleased with that.
Yeah. I think any sort of trepidation we might have had would have been like, well, could we put this money towards a down payment or a closing costs or something like that? But having gone through it now, we know that the money that we spent on the program has come back to us already in spades, because we have knowledge now that will save us money over and over again as we continue to buy property. So we won't make mistakes that are quite costly because we have the knowledge.
Awesome. I never usually ask that. So when I do ask the question, it's like, oh, yeah. You never know what you're going to say. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sure.
guys, for that. Now, when we first met, you guys had said you wanted to do the BRRRR method. I remember you were real big into, we're going to BRRRR, we're going to scale, and now you've kind of switched gears. So tell me, you know, what now your new plan is, why you chose not to, you know, proceed with the BRRRR method. And then I want to hear all about your journey from Boston to St. Petersburg and all that happened in the past few months, which has been outstanding. And holy cow, you guys did a lot of work in the past few months.
Well, I think the BRRRR method and the BRRRR model has like the best publicists in the world. I mean, really, on Bigger Pockets, on podcasts, like it's all anyone wants to talk about. And it's just, you know, these 5 simple steps of like getting your hard money lender and like, you know, putting your everything on the line and just praying that something appraises and you can pull money back out. And listen, like,
and it works, it happens.
And it works for a lot of people, but we knew that we didn't want to start out there. Once we actually really had the conversations with the hard money lenders and figured out like what it would take to make something happen, we just decided to pivot. And the more you read and educate yourself on, you know, the dozens of avenues you can take with real estate investing, it was just very evident to both of us that we wanted to go down, you know, a better path that would be better for us. We were living in Boston. We were paying $3,100 a month in rent. And we knew, and, you know, before that we lived in Los Angeles. We were also paying $3,000 a month in rent. And we just were really sick of paying rent because we, you know, do well, we can work remotely. So, you know, we really decided to have our money work for us. So house hacking was definitely something that spoke to both of us. And so, you know, unfortunately, those 2 markets are, you know, not even close to affordable, Boston and Los Angeles. And Patrick had vacationed as a young child down in like the Sarasota, Florida area. So we did a scouting trip and we looked around, and there were parts of St. Petersburg that really reminded me of San Diego and made me feel comfortable enough. So then we found this house that we're sitting in, and there was a 1-1 cottage in the back and a main house front unit. And our initial idea was to have a long-term tenant in the front house, but with this house in particular, we're so close to the downtown that we decided to actually build it for a short-term rental. So that's what we did. We spent a lot of money on upfront costs to furnish and to build a deck and to have things look very trendy, you know, and really style it out. And we every single day, like, woke up and went to work and did that for about a month, probably more. And this process never really ends. You're just always working on this house somehow. But you know, we finally felt like we were like in a good place, and we had hit our financial limit that we were willing to hit at the time. So we listed our place on Airbnb, and we luckily were able to lock in a couple bookings, and we are just trying to keep the momentum going. We had professional photos taken, and yeah, we're kind of in like month 2. So we're still very new, learning every day, but just open to being malleable, I think, is a huge part of real estate investing.
Yeah, I think why short-term made a lot of sense to us was we're people who are trying to chase everything. We're trying to chase cash flow, appreciation, you know, control, as well as property owners. And I think we're able to achieve that here with the short-term rental, because it is, St. Petersburg is a community that is appreciating rapidly. There's new developments coming in here every day, twice a day. And also, you know, with the short-term rental approach, the cash flow far exceeds the long-term rental approach. So, and since we're here, boots on the ground, we might as well control the property management by doing it ourselves and hosting ourselves just from the back of the property. So a lot of things kind of came together at the right moment in time for us here, and I think we're very happy with our progress so far.
Yeah. So you guys said your mortgage payment is how much for where you're at for your duplex?
$2,700
Yeah.
a month.
3,700?
27.
Oh, 2,700. And you told me something a little earlier before we started recording that you guys just got a booking in February. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we
So
the hot season, when it starts getting cold in the Northeast, the snowbirds, if you will, travel down to Florida. So the hot season is January to March, April in St. Petersburg, but there's 1 week in February where the Grand Prix is here. It's a
Formula One racing.
Yeah, it's a huge like economic bump for the city. And we had a booking pop up the other day for 7 days, 1 week during the Grand Prix, and it totaled $4,000. So we're still kind of beside ourselves, to be completely honest, just because you know, we've worked just so hard, and we have so much invested into this front house. So that was just such a little rush, and we're just really excited that the other thing too, this is a big risk, and you know, the upfront costs were a lot, but also in our heads, we were paying $3,100 to rent a place. So even if we have 0 bookings, we're still winning. That's kind of just what we've had in the back of our mind. But yeah, no, the February booking is super exciting.
That's really cool. I was like, when you guys told me, I can see your smiles. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
I know. So you guys would probably be here for a year, and you know, you have to, since it's owner occupied and you're house hacking. So you were in Boston, now you're in Florida. What are your plans for next year? What are your future plans for investing now that your mind's been open to the short-term rentals, and now you got it down, now you know how to do it? What's your plans for the future now?
Yeah, so there's 3 main things we're looking at accomplishing in the next 12 months. One is a project that we've had ongoing for a while because it's been it's a new build duplex construction that is going to be finished for us in the first week of December in like central Florida, sort of like outside the Ocala area for anybody out there who might be familiar. So that'll be closing before the holidays. So that's step one. Step
Long-term tenants.
Long-term tenants, yeah, we wouldn't short-term rent that because it's not necessarily a destination. But and we're also, by the time that we are basically up on our year clock on this house, we will long-term rent this this 1-1 back cottage that we are living in, and get some just consistent cash flow out of a long-term renter to offset this mortgage and the cash flow that the Airbnb brings in. So that's another step, and we will then hopefully move ourselves up to Tennessee, which is kind of our end of the rainbow idea that we've always had. It was to leave Los Angeles, get to Boston, get to Florida, to get a property in between, and then eventually find ourselves in Nashville, which we've spent some time in and quite like, as does everybody across the US now, it seems. But so we'll end up trying to place ourselves in Nashville. We're looking at a development in Nashville that's actually pretty unique and exciting for us in particular, because it has a studio component to the house that's being built. It's on a subdivision essentially, and the houses that are being built in that subdivision, they have a studio that is zoned for short-term rentals. So there'll be a basement studio that we can take advantage of and short-term rent while we live above and just live our normal life. So
Another house hack.
Yeah, so it's another house hack.
It's addicting, but
in that sort of a way. And before we have, any sort of family or large family where you can't have a bunch of strangers walking around your property all the time. In the beginning, we can. And we're happy to sort of offset our costs by having that short-term rental cash flow income. So that is our sort of the end of the rainbow idea by the end of the next 12 months. But in the middle somewhere, we'll sprinkle in trying to get a vacation home loan as well, and buy another property, hopefully, to take advantage of that 10% down second home, cost saving, and try to finagle something there. Where that's going to be, we're not sure. We recently went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and really like that area. That area is exploding. It's probably one of the top short-term rental markets in America. So there's a lot.
There's other great there. Like Charleston, Savannah. I mean, if you can manage it remotely with 10% down, I mean, that's
Oklahoma.
That's just something that, we're really interested in. And a lot of that cash flow money can funnel to long-term. But I just think it's really important for us to kind of diversify. And
would you guys consider managing your short-term rentals long-term, like through Evolve or something like that?
Yeah.
Instead of hiring.
Not through Evolve, just manage ourselves remotely.
Personally, remotely.
Just because the cut of 30-40% is just too steep. And, we have the front house automated right now, with the pricing software and
messaging software,
scheduling software. There's turnover B&B for, cleaners and backup cleaners and triple backup cleaners, because that's such a crucial piece of the pie. So
some markets, the property managers take a lot.
It's a lot.
Like where I'm looking at in Hot Springs, 20%, but Gatlinburg 30-40% for managing your short-term rentals, because they know how much money you're bringing in.
Right.
That's what I think. And it's so demanding that everyone's got a short-term rental out there. And if you want to have the best cleaners and you want to have the best, ratings, then you have to pay for the best, so it's like, geez,
right.
I know I looked over there too. And there was like the cheapest house is a 2-bedroom for $700,000. And I'm like, Lord have mercy.
It's steep. It's very steep for sure.
Well, cool. You guys have done a lot in the past few years with your real estate investing. You guys are definitely, on a great track. And you guys are, I mean, I'm floored by all that you've done. You guys have done really well, and it's only going to go up from here. What would you say to the aspiring real estate investor? I'm sure there's people that are watching this are like, holy cow, these people have, bought new builds and they're doing short-term rentals and they moved across the country and now they're going to do it again. And, they want to be like you. They have the money. They're just scared. They're stuck. They haven't made a move. What would you say to those people watching that, to get them motivated and get them started on their investing journey?
I think that Patrick and I both have a fire. So this is definitely, our path is certainly not for everyone. I mean, we are, very minimalist people. We move quickly. We get really fired up. Like, look at this listing. Like, we definitely have it like within us. I think most of that honestly is for us to eventually break out of our W-2 jobs and be our own bosses and be with our family that we make and control our schedule. But I would say for the new person coming in, the thing that helped me get over that hump and made both of us feel really comfortable is education. Reading every single book you can get your hands on, listen to like all of the free podcasts on the podcast app. Like, once you have the information, you're just going to feel more equipped. And without those learnings, like, I would think it would be very hard to understand what you're doing. And then once you have that education, taking on a program like SWRP, just brings your whole business to the next level, because you have someone on your side that can answer the questions that you can't really necessarily Google. But I think just educating, staying focused, saving as much as you can. It really is like a complete lifestyle and mindset shift that we both had. When we lived in Los Angeles, we were leasing our cars. We were spending $3,000 a month on rent. And, we just bought this $7,000 15-year-old VW, and, we're house hacking and we're cooking at home. Like, we're just trying to do everything to save every single penny for real estate, because the more that we put in, even with this house, it was painful to be spending a new couch, new this, new deck. It's all coming back, and you just keep cycling your money through. But again, without the education, without reading these types of books, I personally wouldn't have felt confident enough to hand over, $50,000, my life savings, all of those things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think the education helped us really get to the table. And then once we started to meet folks or seek coaching in this instance, everything that was in theory is now you're doing it and in practice. And that's a hard step for people to take. It's a lot of people can be like paralyzed in all of their homework, and they might know everything about it. They might know more than us, and they haven't even started yet. And that's sort of a shame. You just have to change your mindset, like you mentioned, but like you now care about things that other people don't care about, and they care about things that you used to care about that you just don't anymore. Like what you see on social media, what you see on Instagram that your friends are doing, and that stuff is no longer anything you care about, material type things, and
it's not getting you anywhere.
Status flaunting and things like that. It means nothing. Now we own like some, working, but some beat up car that gets us from A to B, and it's
barely working.
It's no longer like our BMWs that we had in LA. So it's important to kind of embrace that your whole lifestyle and mindset is going to change if you want to commit to this. We used to look at how high our savings accounts would climb and think like, oh, good, like we're doing so great. Like, look, we have X amount saved now, and like we're killing it. And now we're changing out of that mindset where it's less about like how high is our pot of gold stacked, and more about like where are all the places that our money is working for us? Because if it's just
how low can we go
in a pile? Yeah, exactly. How much money can be out the door working for itself, and laying a foundation for us to bring in more money with that money, rather than just stacking cash in a bank and just feeling good about it, because you're never going to have enough money. There will never be enough money stacked in a bank that will get you through the entirety of your life. You just need it out there doing something, being active and working for you. So, yeah,
well said.
we have a lot of thoughts about this, obviously, but.
So final question for you guys. Most people that are watching this, they're watching because they're wanting to join Success with Rental Properties. They're on the fence. Should I join? Should I not join? Is this worth it? Will I get my money back, through the program by investing and all that? What would you say to push these people over to say, to get them to say, yes, I want to join. This is for me.
Yeah, I think you just need an activation point at some point. There needs to be something that pushes that person into action, because it is quite life-changing, as we've just mentioned. And what the program does is help keep you accountable, keep you comfortable and informed in an otherwise very uncomfortable space. It's extremely understandable why a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to deal with owning a home. I just want to rent. And because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of factors. On our worst days, we look at each other and like, no wonder why all of the country wants to rent, is because we don't have to deal with this kind of stuff that we have to deal with from time to time. But it's really, in the long run, I know we're going to thank ourselves for having done this and really taking it so seriously enough to have invested in the process by taking on coaching and taking on certain what might be seen as real estate risks by buying certain places and in states across the country. But at a certain point, you need to activate, and that is something that I think everybody needs to be about. Everybody wants to virtue signal and say that they're about something, but you actually have to make a decision at a certain point and say all right, now is the time. The market's never going to be the right time, by the way. Also, I think everybody should know that it's never going to be well, the market's in the wrong place. The money that you're not spending today is money that you've lost tomorrow and in the future. So you just need to start.
And one other thing, as far as the coaching is concerned, is you can read all of the books that I had, everything on your shelf, every podcast, but you really, personally, I felt I wanted someone on my side, because when you're looking at a contract, that's real. It's real terms. Mm-hmm. When you're at Home Depot for your house, that's a real fridge. There isn't you can get all of the answers. So I think the SWRP program was I need this answer for this particular situation that I'm in. Mm-hmm. And it's just, again, really nice to have someone on your side to help you get to the answer or give you the answer, or their just perspective based on years of experience and success.
And especially if you're one person too, we're two people, and that helps us a ton to kind of bounce off each other and keep each other encouraged. If you're one person trying to take the plunge, good on you, you're doing the right thing. Another reason to have somebody like Casey in your corner to really be a sounding board and to answer a bunch of questions and make you feel like you're not in a silo alone trying to make
figure
this
it
happen.
out. Totally.
It's always different when it's your situation.
Yeah.
That's what I find. A lot of people will, they'll do even group programs, and they'll be listening to everyone's situation. But then when it comes time to their situation or their problem, well, that wasn't talked about.
Right.
That wasn't the example they used. What about me and my situation? Right. And that is what I do love about the one-on-one, is that I get to help everyone with their own individual situation and path, and it's fun. And then plus I have new friends,
yeah. So
it's great. Anything else you guys want to add before I say thank you and goodbye?
No, I really think that the thank you, goes both ways, because
Mm-hmm.
like we said, we really wanted someone in our corner answering any questions that we had, and access to materials that we will continue to use later in our real estate investing journey.
Yeah. And I think you get the most out of it depending on how you approach your investment career. We're super, like Rachel said, on fire for it. And we're always kind of doing homework, doing discoveries and investigations into new methods, and then we've been bringing it to Casey, and it's been like a great like discussion forum. So I believe it's best to kind of like do your part so that it's not just there's somebody across from you who's trying to tell you, well, okay, now go do this, now go do that. Like that will be provided, but personally, I think you get the most out of it by bringing yourself to those points as well, and not just expect to be led by the hand. And you will be helped along the way, of course, entirely. But if you're helping yourself too, that makes a world of difference.
Definitely helps. Well, thank you guys. You have been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this little testimonial thing with me. I really appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah.
Of course.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Casey.